Today we are talking about the most mysterious place on Earth, Antarctica.
A continent so secretive that most people know less about it than they do about Mars.
Which is insane when we realize Antarctica is just literally down there.
Just chillin', minding his business, being very cold.
So when we started researching this episode, we thought, great, a fun little conspiracy episode about Antarctica.
And then we discovered Antarctica is basically the Las Vegas of conspiracy theories.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
Ancient civilizations, Nazi bases, alien pyramids, hidden entrances to the center of the Earth, which frankly feels ambitious.
And the deeper we researched, the more we realized there is absolutely no way we can fit this into one episode. So this is officially part one of a two-part Antarctica deep dive.
Today, we're looking at the conspiracies.
And next week we dive into the real discoveries, which somehow sound even crazier.
That's not reassuring.
Welcome back to Mindzilla, the podcast where we dig into conspiracies, mysteries, and the part of history that feel like they were left out on purpose. If you're new here, I'm Jess.
And I'm Luke, and today we're going somewhere that apparently every conspiracy theorist on Earth has agreed to collectively obsess over.
Antarctica.
And if you've been with us since Flat Earth, congratulations! Antarctica is the DLC expansion.
It is. It's literally the bonus map nobody installed, but everyone argues about anyway.
Same mechanics, new location, more ice, more shouting on forums.
And for new listeners who think we're joking, we're not even in a weird part yet.
We've done the reading, we've cross-checked sources, we've gone into forums we probably shouldn't have opened without adult supervision.
Somehow Antarctica feels like it's hiding more than it's showing.
This is one of those rare episodes where both of us came in thinking we was the sensible ones.
And left questioning whether geography is even real.
This is the crossover episode no one asked for, but absolutely everyone has opinion on. So today we're separating the conspiracies.
From the facts that somehow sound worse.
And just to be clear, we are starting with the conspiracies.
Because of course we are. Right. Before we get into Nazis, aliens, and whatever else the internet has emotionally attached to Antarctica,
We should probably establish the boring bit. This is why it's not actually a free-for-all mystery continent bit.
Antarctica is governed by the Antarctic Treaty System, signed in 1959. Multiple countries, it basically freezes military activity and territorial claims in place.
Which is already weird if you think about it. The world looked at a continent and went, right, nobody touch it, everyone behave.
There are strict environmental protections, scientific research rules, and access is heavily controlled.
And you can't just rock up like it's a beach holiday either. You need permits, logistics, coordinated entry through research stations.
And specialized transport. It's not exactly a walk-in situation.
Nothing says nothing going on here like needing a multinational approval form and a survival team to visit.
And 98% of it is covered in ice. Most of it is still unexplored in meaningful way.
So basically, it's the only place on Earth where we don't really know is still a valid scientific statement.
Which is where conspiracy theorists go, lovely, that's mine now.
Honestly, I think Antarctica's biggest problem is PR.
What do you mean?
Well, every time a place says strictly controlled access, no permanent residence, heavily restricted zones.
People assume it's either a nuclear bunker or a wizard's hideout.
Exactly. Nothing says nothing going on like a continent with a bouncer.
And the bouncer is the entire planet agreeing not to ask too many questions. Let's ground this properly. We're going to do a recurring segment throughout the episode.
Because otherwise, we will absolutely lose control of reality by minute 10.
This is High School Fact. Antarctica is governed by Antarctic Treaty, which regulates activity and bans military operations on a continent.
Frozen fiction. That's because it's actually a global quarantine zone where something important is being protected or contained.
Right. And to be clear on paper, the treaty exists for scientific cooperation and environmental protection.
Sure, but also this is exactly what someone guarding the secret would say.
We're going to keep doing that throughout the episode, by the way.
Because Antarctica has a habit of sounding normal for about 5 seconds.
And then immediately becoming extremely not normal.
And we've got receipts for both.
Now we get into the first big anchor point of Antarctic conspiracy lore, the Operation High Jump.
Which already sounds like something you unlock in a military video game after completing 3 morally questionable side quests.
Officially, it was a U.S. Navy operation in 1946, led by Admiral Richard E. Byrd. The goal was mapping training and testing cold weather military capacity.
So, science, logistics, and let's see what breaks when humans are frozen.
Exactly. They sent ships, aircrafts, thousands of personnel. It was a major expedition.
And then the internet looked at that and went, right, that's definitely not the full story.
Here's where things start to drift into conspiracy territory.
Which is polite language for everyone started filling in the blanks aggressively.
There are claims that the expedition encountered unexpected resistance, equipment failures, aircraft incidents, unexplained conditions.
And then the classic line appears,
They weren't alone.
which is doing a lot of narrative work for one sentence.
Some interpretations suggest the mission was cut short earlier than planned.
Because nothing fuels conspiracy fuel more than a timetable that doesn't look emotionally satisfying.
And then Admiral Byrd himself becomes the central to the myth.
Of course he does. Every conspiracy needs a main character who allegedly said one cryptic thing once.
Some accounts claim he made references to unknown aerial phenomena or regions beyond the known territory.
And just like that, High Jump stops being a military operation and becomes folklore with paperwork. They went in for a geography trip and came back spiritually shaken.
That's not an official record.
No, but it is how it feels when you read the internet's version of it.
Ice cold fact. Operation High Jump was a large-scale U.S. Navy Antarctic expedition focused on training, logistics, and exploration.
Frozen fiction, they accidentally discovered something they weren't meant to see and had to retreat before contact escalation.
Now we jump to another cornerstone of Antarctic conspiracy lore, Neuschwabenland.
Which sounds like a place you'd find either a secret lair or a very aggressive, efficient spa resort.
In the late 1930s, Nazi Germany conducted Antarctic expeditions and claimed the region in Queen Maud Land, naming it Neuschwabenland.
And from there, the internet did what it always does. Took a historical expedition and added 10 layers of underground infrastructure.
Some theories suggest that after World War II, remnants of the Nazi regime escaped to Antarctica.
And didn't just escape, but apparently set up shop.
Alleged underground bases, hidden technology, self-sustained settlements.
So, what you're saying is, evil people saw the coldest place on Earth and went, perfect, we'll live there forever.
Apparently, yes, yeah.
Bold choice, not climate friendly, but bold.
They really said, let's build an evil IKEA under the ice.
And now, I cannot unsee that. This is also where Antarctic theories start doing something interesting. They don't just stay in their lane. Hollow Earth starts showing up again. Flat Earth starts peeking in, like it's every conspiracist eventually ends up at the same cold party.
And Antarctica is just standing there like, why is everyone using me as a meeting point?
Oh no.
Well,
This is a crossover episode. Already, Antarctica is doing what it already does, dragging in every other conspiracy we've ever covered like it's assembling a team.
right, but remember, we're not re-explaining these theories.
No. This is just a cameo section. Flat Earth people are going to love this bit because they'll say, see, the ice wall again.
And we are not opening that door.
Good, because last time we did Hollow Earth, we spent half an hour arguing about tunnels under continents.
I'm still not emotionally recovered from that episode.
We've covered this in Hollow Earth, and honestly, it keeps showing up like a bad sequel.
And every conspiracy eventually goes, what if Antarctica again? This is why Antarctica is dangerous.
Not physically, intellectually. It's the only place on Earth that causes conspiracy theories to collaborate.
And we didn't plan that, or did we?
No, we generally just started researching the continent and accidentally built a shared cinematic universe of nonsense.
Right. This is where Antarctica stops being just restricted continent and becomes allegedly something else entirely.
It gets promoted to cosmic storage facility by the internet.
One of the big claims is UFO activity, satellite anomalies, strange readings, images that people interpret as artificial structures beneath the ice.
By interpret, mean zoom in, squint, and decide humanity has discovered aliens through slightly blurry pixels.
There are also claims of military cover-ups, that anything unusual gets quietly explained away as ice formations or data errors.
Which, to be fair, is also what I say when I break something at home.
But in conspiracy circles, that becomes their hiding contact.
Aliens apparently also prefer extreme weather isolation.
Honestly, fair. If I was an advanced civilization, I'd also pick somewhere no one can casually visit. Ice cold fact. Satellite images of Antarctica often show natural ice formations, mountain ridges, and radar distortions.
Frozen fiction. That's a camouflage layer over active off-world infrastructure.
Now we move into the ancient civilization theories.
Of course we do. We can't have a conspiracy buffet without Atlantis turning up uninvited.
There are ideas that Antarctica wasn't always frozen, that it might have once been temperate, possibly even inhabited by advanced pre-Ice Age civilizations.
And then the ice arrived, like, sorry, closing time.
Some versions link it to Atlantis, others suggest lost civilizations wiped out and preserved under the ice.
So, Antarctica is basically a freezer full of unsolved history.
And possibly lost knowledge, technologies, or civilizations waiting to be uncovered.
Atlantis gets blamed for everything except my tax return.
Okay, but here's where it gets interesting.
Oh no, you've gone pattern mode.
All of these theories, aliens, Atlantis, hidden bases, ancient civilizations, they all place Antarctica at the center of something important.
Or Antarctica is just large and inconvenient.
That's your explanation for everything.
It covers 14 million square kilometers. If something looked weird there, it's statistically allowed to just be ice.
But it is strange how many unrelated theories converge on the same place.
Or it's the only place on Earth where you can project absolutely anything onto it because almost nobody lives there to argue back.
So you're saying Antarctica is a blank canvas for paranoia.
I'm saying Antarctica is a very cold suggestion box.
Either way, it keeps showing up. And that's the part we can't ignore. Now we step into the actual scientific anomalies, not theories, data that researchers are still actively trying to understand.
Which is always my favourite kind of segment, the we've checked and is still weird category.
One of the most discussed is the Anita experiment, a detector in Antarctica designed to pick up cosmic particles from space.
And it started picking up things that didn't behave how physics expected them to behave.
Signals that seem to suggest particles were traveling in directions or energies that don't quite fit current models.
So, either physics is wrong, or Antarctica is running experimental firmware.
This is not how reality works. It's how it feels it works down there, though. Now, this one is genuinely fascinating. Beneath the Antarctic ice sheet, there are entire liquid water lakes and ecosystems.
So, there are places on Earth that are basically untouched by sunlight, sealed off for millions of years, and still alive. Life found a way under a kilometre of ice.
It challenges what we thought was possible for life on Earth.
So, Jurassic Park, but colder and worse for morale.
I think morale is already at zero if you're a microbe under a glacier. Ice cold fat. Subglacial lakes in Antarctica contain microbial life that has adapted to extreme isolated conditions.
Frozen fiction, entire unknown ecosystems proving Earth has hidden biospheres we were never meant to access.
And we have ice cores. Scientists drill deep into Antarctic ice to extract layers that record hundreds of thousands of years of climate history.
So basically, Antarctica is Earth's hard drive. And we keep drilling into it like idiots hoping we don't delete something important.
It's one of the most important tools we have for understanding past climate changes.
And also one of the most visually terrifying things you can describe casually.
Okay, look, based on everything so far, I think we need your official assessment system.
Ah, yes, the only scientifically peer-reviewed system I trust.
Go on then.
Right. Antarctic theory ratings. Category 1. Mildly concerning. Probably just ice doing ice things. Category 2. Need citation. I'd like to see that source, preferably not a blurry screenshot. Category 3. Absolutely not. You've lost me. You've lost physics. You've lost dignity. And Category 4. Why is this in my brain now, and this is where Antarctica lives permanently?
And where are we currently?
Honestly, somewhere between Category 2 and permanent psychological residency in Category 4.
That sounds about right. So, just to recap, science is weird, life exists where it shouldn't, and physics occasionally glitches. And somehow, this is a normal part of Antarctica. Okay, this is the point where I need to say it out loud.
Oh, here we go.
We've covered alien theories, ancient civilizations, Nazi expeditions, physics anomalies.
And every single road leads back here.
So we've got a running team forming.
Which is...
Why is it always Antarctica?
We've covered multiple conspiracies, and Antarctica is in all of them.
It's either suspicious.
Or geographically overworked.
That should not be a category of concern, by the way.
And yet, here we are.
Because if you remove all the noise,
Which is difficult, but continue.
every theory still points to the same place.
Antarctica is just the biggest, emptiest, hardest to check place on Earth, so it becomes everyone's projection screen.
That was almost sensible. I didn't like it.
I didn't like saying it.
Now we get to the part where Antarctica stops being a conspiracy topic and just becomes structurally ridiculous.
Because under all that ice, we've discovered entire mountain ranges.
Vast ones, some of the largest on Earth.
So, just to clarify, we didn't know the biggest version of a thing we already knew was there was underneath another thing.
Basically, yes.
Brilliant. Earth is doing secret DLC updates and not telling anyone.
And there are entire lakes trapped under kilometers of ice, liquid water systems completely sealed off for millions of years.
So, places that haven't seen sunlight since before human civilization existed, and they're still active. That's not conspiracy, that's just Earth quietly keeping secrets.
And we've got microbial ecosystems surviving in extreme isolation, pressure, and darkness.
So, life looked at Antarctica and went, yeah, I'll adapt.
It forces us to rethink what conditions are actually necessary for life.
So, the answer is apparently far less than we assumed and far more discomfort.
Ice cold fact: Antarctica contains hidden mountain ranges, liquid water systems, and microbial life underneath its ice sheet.
Frozen fiction is a blank, lifeless continent hiding artificial secrets.
And the high scores continue to reveal detailed records of Earth's climate going back hundreds of thousands of years.
So, Antarctica isn't just a place.
It's a record.
And we've been casually drilling into it like a forgotten notebook.
It's one of the most important tools we have for understanding how the planet changes over time.
And also one of the most humbling reminders that we are not in charge of the archive. So, let's just call it clearly.
Go on.
There are no alien bases, but there are entire worlds under the ice.
So the conspiracy was possibly wrong, but reality is still unwell. And that's the thing that stuck with us the most.
Because we came in expecting myths,
And ended up finding a planet that doesn't really advertise what it's doing underneath itself.
and somehow that's worse.
Not worse, just deeper.
Same thing emotionally.
The deeper we went, the less Antarctica felt like a place and more like a locked system.
And we were absolutely not meant to have the password.
Not meant to, or just not given it.
That's a dangerous question for somewhere with that many locks and that many rules about who gets in and who doesn't come back talking about it.
Because the strangest thing about Antarctica isn't what people say it's there. It's how consistent all the stories become when you line them up. Different theories, different eras.
Same continent.
Next week, Antarctica stops being mysterious.
And starts being dangerous.
Because exploration didn't just fail there.
Barely survived.
And the records don't just describe cold.
They describe resistance.
See you all in part 2.
Bye.
Bye!